has UK rap, grime, urban music lost its British identity?
In terms of what?
Obviously the main thing that's going to come up here is the argument that grime is British, hip hop is American. I don't care what anyone says, grime is a form of hip hop. It is people rapping over a beat which stems from America.
Some people say, okay, you're not a good rapper because you're MCing over the beat. You have some people that are on grime and then they come onto a rap beat but they can't really sit on it properly because they are MCing over the beat.
MC in its purest form is a rapper. Rakim was an MC, KRS-One was an MC. So this idea of a difference between an MC and a rapper is some made up shit the grime artists made up to separate themselves.
People coined the term to separate rappers doing grime and rappers just doing typical hip hop. So MCs were classed as grime rappers and rappers were just classed as hip hop rappers.
Go tell KRS that he's a rapper, not an MC. We can make hip hop music or whatever, but essentially it's a culture that is birthed in the States. When we talk about the Mobos and white England embracing black culture, if you want to embrace a culture that's foreign to you, you embrace it with respect.
I'm taking into account everything that you've said and I'm not saying that I'm disagreeing with you. But if you're going to look at it like that, a lot of Jamaican people would then say, but hold on a minute, we was toasting, got in 19 how long? Some of these lot was looking at what we were doing and they've made it into their own culture. So you could then say that it's come from reggae music.
Well, essentially it has. It was a Jamaican immigrant living in New York.
You get into this whole thing then of like, who does it belong to? Which is just getting a bit too ridiculous. And the reason why grime was so special to the UK, it seemed that the UK actually found a sound of their kind of hip hop. Grime was a thing that could have been developed to a point where it could have been a global thing rather than just a thing where maybe Britain were into it and spots in Europe and America, whatever, innit? You listen to French hip hop, you fucking know they're speaking French. That's how they identify with that.
But that's the point. It is the UK's version of hip hop. It's not something different. It's just our version of hip hop. In the same way that crunk music was Atlanta's version of hip hop.
That's the point. So you two agreeing that grime is hip hop?
Grime is hip hop.
It's just over a faster beat and we use our own accent. I think it does separate us a little bit from US hip hop, but at the same time I don't think you can be totally like, yeah, we don't sound anything like that because we're very much influenced by US hip hop. You speak to any grime artist out there and you ask them to name their top 5 MCs, the whole top 5 will probably be American.
Grime is an extension of hip hop for me. Maybe we tried to separate it so we could try and hold on to this thing that we had and no one else can take it, squeeze something to death, then you fucking kill it, innit? Who knows, you know?
Where has it lost its identity?
For me, it's like grime is on a decline in terms of fan base and this whole road rap thing is on an increase. Are we going from finding our own identity and going away from it to then going back to emulating American?
We kind of have lost our UK identity because if we're talking about UK hip hop, for me, I say we're talking about grime. And grime, as what Teef was saying, is on a large decline because people are moving towards US hip hop.
In this country we have a really, like, whether or not you think it's a bad habit or a good habit, of changing and chopping sounds, and essentially they kind of all sound the same but they might be a little bit different and then we will jump on it and then we'll call it a new name. Whereas in the States I don't feel like they do that so much. If it's hip hop, it's just still hip hop, it just sounds a little bit different.
Like look at with the house stuff when Zinc did Crack House. It's just his sound of house.
I feel like sometimes the UK artists are just trying to get that appreciation of hip hop. Most people who appreciate real hip hop in America will not appreciate grime because they don't understand what they're saying because we've got an English accent and because the way how they're rapping is obviously a lot quicker. But also when it comes to grime now, England are jumping on that exact same bandwagon in that, hold on a second, we don't really like that either. Let's follow what the American people are saying.
People like to follow fashion. We like to see the success cases. That was successful, that's how you have to do it from now on. So everyone just follows suit going that way.
If you're looking at UK hip hop, which as you guys are saying is grime, yeah, England's completely forgotten about their UK identity on the UK hip hop and they're completely moving towards
this is a product of globalization. When a new trend comes out, whether it's music, whether it's fashion, it's online for everybody to see. So it's more like you have communities online that embrace new sounds of music, new fashion trends, new slang, all the rest of it, and there's no such thing really as a regional sound anymore. If we're gonna embrace hip hop, what sense can we have our own identity? I'll tell you why grime died out. Grime was like punk music. Punk was 3 chords, very simple music, and it was all about vibe. It wasn't about lyricism, it wasn't about songwriting, it was about vibe. Grime was really simple, minimal beats, and it was about vibe and aggression. So when you're talking about music that's so stripped down, it's got a lifespan as to where it can grow. It's either going to grow into something else, which it has, and as the MCs get more lyrical, it's natural that they grow into a more hip-hop in the traditional sense.
How can UK hip-hop have its own identity then? Because you're saying that like a lot of these artists now are trying to copy what the Americans are doing. For me, I'm just feeling like a lot of them are just trying to stunt on each other, innit? I wouldn't even just say that's hip-hop, that's just what people do anyway. But what's wrong with being able to just stunt on each other and say that you want to have nice things?
No one's mad at J. Cole for being from the South and making New York sounding rap, or Outkast, who've been making New York York sounding rap from the longest time.
Within America,
Like,
I don't think the UK rap was taken seriously at a degree.
the reason UK rap wasn't taken seriously because it wasn't good enough.
There was a few cats that I thought was good enough. It wasn't about the talent for me, there just wasn't a fucking audience.
Man, you can't tell me Task Force was shit, you can't tell me Skinny Man was shit, you can't tell me Rodney P was shit or London Pussy. There's always been quality there. Maybe it might have not been in abundance because not so many people was into it, but I am not fucking sitting with the point of that there wasn't enough quality. There was a bit of issue between like, oh, are these British people trying to sound American with an accent? People don't like people faking it. That's the point with it. And I think that's just how it sounded them days.
Doesn't matter if the outlets support it now because we can have an audience direct because of the internet now. So all that shit has been dissolved from what it used to be where there was control. There were people saying, oh, these bunch of kids from Britain thinking they're doing an American thing. It even got to the point where British rappers were talking in American.
When Gentleman, who's a German reggae artist, come out, no one got mad that he didn't sing in a German accent. He sung and he spoke in patois and he sung in a Jamaican accent. He got love from Jamaica. Any German reggae artist that comes out singing in German isn't going to get love in Jamaica. I don't know what it is about hip hop, but people are obsessed with the kind of regional identity within hip hop. Mick Jagger sung in an American accent. Amy Winehouse did soul music. No one is complaining that J. Cole is a southern rap artist making New York sounding music. Providing you are talking about your struggle and you're not fabricating something that you've seen on TV, then that's real hip hop.
With reggae music though, there's specifics to it. You identify it by the accent and the twang. With hip hop, it's different because you can hear French rap. Based on the language, it's French rap. If you listen to British hip hop, you should be able to tell by the accent.
And you do that. That's where we have our own identity. The difference is now, 98% of the people that are rapping now are rapping in a British accent. When I first started listening to UK hip hop, a lot of people are spitting an American accent. We have our own accent. That's where we are different from the Americans. So what? We can be the same. It's fine as long as we're doing our own thing.
If you're rapping in your own accent and you're talking about your own estate, it's different. You're not talking about being in Harlem or saying that you're eating soul food or anything like that. We're using our own slang. We're rapping about stuff that's happening in our own community or what's happening in our lives. That's just where we're different, isn't it, really?
Look at a Giggs video, yeah? I'm using Giggs as an example because of that kind of scene of rap. He's the most recognised artist. He's not really under the grime thing, but he's not under the backpack UK thing. He's talking about Peckham. He's dressed in European style design shit that was popularised in the UK. How is that us losing our identity? Essentially, we're making American hip hop music, so of course the production is going to sound American. If America did drum and bass, it's going to sound like British drum and bass.
Giggs was made famous for whatever reason, innit? But then everyone thought, oh shit, that's what's hot now. I gotta do that. You lose your identity when you start following things because you think that's how it's meant to be done.
Grime in itself, which we think is the equivalent of UK hip hop, which I agree with, whether or not they want to say that or not. I think if you speak to any grime artist out there, whether or not they're a fan of US hip hop, the answer is going to be yes, and whether or not they were influenced by it, the answer again will be yes. You can admit to that and still say, I have my own thing, this is our own sound. There's nothing wrong with that. Going back to the French hip hop thing, that is France's own version of hip hop, so why can't we have that as well? It's just called grime.
I think Lala was quiet today, which makes a change. I think she felt there was a very masculine, testosterone-fueled debate, so I understand why she didn't say much.
If you notice, I was real quiet in the debate. We have the Oracle sitting to the left of me. His name's Snips, by the way. Sometimes we just have to let that boy just gas. So if any of you are shouting at the screen saying, why is he talking so much? We can't shut him up, and that's about it, really.
Be something as simple as your imagery. Rappers that are still making less than $1,000 a month, buying Gucci and Louis and trying to look the part.
The mentality of a dude, like, put your head down, take that shit.